Yeah, Monday. What's up, everybody? Monday morning. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. I hope everybody had a great weekend, was able to enjoy yourself, get some time down. I know a lot of you we spoke with last night in our live trade room. So we're going to go through what we do each and every day, looking at 10 to 12 futures markets from an educational perspective for both breakout and reversal opportunities. One thing I want to make note of is that, the reason that we do this every day, and this is something I think it's important for a lot of people. The reason we do this every day is for you to understand how do trades evolve over time. We don't take lines off the charts. We don't delete videos from the playlist. And so what it allows you to be able to do, you can go back to any moment in time in the last 2 years that we've been doing this and take a look at every single trade and every single level and how it's evolved day from day from day. And I've had a couple of people that have done that recently, and they found it very eye-opening to see how those things work. And so we believe that it's important to have true accountability, and that true accountability is in having the same levels and the same markets every day. So go take a look at that. It might help your trading more than you know. All right, let's go ahead and move into the S&P this morning. So we're up about 13 points today. In last night's live trade room, we were just chopping around. We had talked about the potential for a breakout above these highs, but it wasn't as clean as the NASDAQ. And the reason for that was because we didn't have three clear touches, and we were coming up into this little area of resistance or this area of supply. Now, I think that the chances are is that we'll continue to rally up from there. When I look at the 4-hour chart, we are in the midst of an upward trend. Now we're kind of at the upper band of a kind of a range that we've been hopping around between for a little while, and we're sitting right back at the top of that band again. So if we get a pullback to a bit lower in that band, I've wrapped some lines around a little wick over wick area down here. But ultimately, I think the better chances are the prices continue to rally a bit higher for today and then maybe early in this week. And so if we want to wait for a bit of a pullback, you might have a little area here at this breakout point. But I don't see super great demand here. Maybe it's an opportunity today to wait for a better breakout on a smaller time frame. Now, the NASDAQ has given us a breakout, and we're up about 95 points this morning. My target in the NASDAQ is this 11,017. So if you took our breakout trade from last night's live trade room, if you got in overnight and you just decided to let it sit there in the overnight sessions, then it really didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Or if you just got up early today and you got long on this one, then you're still in that position. So at this point, I would say it's a decent opportunity to take your stop and move it to break even, and then allow price to continue to run. If you didn't get in and you want to jump back in, well, you do have a potential retest area right here. So there is a potential retest area right back in there where you may get a small shorting or small opportunity to get long right on a pullback into that region. Okay, so both of those are very valid. I like the breakout to make it eventually up to our target area, right? And our target area is just before this area of supply. Now, if we get to this area of supply up here, I'm not willing to really take a short on that because that's the all-time high. And we don't tub on Superman's cape, we don't spit into the wind, and we don't short the all-time high. So I'm not really going to short that area. I would love to see basing happen again up here because then I'd have another long as a potential setup. In the Russell, we are in between our areas here, kind of still chopping sideways. We have come to the origin of this big, strong move down in the rut. We came to the origin of this move down. We've already touched it once and moved away, and now we're approaching it very quickly again. In case of a pullback on this one, I don't really have a super clean area in here either. I'd probably still on this one also want to see a bit of a confirmation entry. I kind of like this little level here for a demand, actually, even though we almost came into it once. So I'm going to wrap my lines around that area because we did almost come into it. Depending on how you draw your lines, you may say we already did, but I'd have to put it as a confirmation entry because we've come so close to that area already once. these oftentimes I see as decent places where we catch reversals, and it's below the Globex low, so it could set up for a little bit of a trap. As there's going to be breakout traders that are getting short once we get below the Globex low. All right, moving over to commodities, and then the charts, the copy of the charts themselves, I will send out to all the Traders Army members as soon as we are done recording here. You guys, I will email all that out. All right, so last night we looked at this little level here in crude oil on this little 15-minute chart, and we just missed it by a tick in the overnight session. I mean, talk about, I was looking at this 4012 by 4020 region, and then this candle right here, the high of that candle was 4011. So I did not, unfortunately, have that order get triggered. It missed by a tick, and then it got a very nice move away. My eventual target was 3950 off of that 4012. And so that level, I have to switch it now based upon my rules to a confirmation style entry. I think that short still exists. I just have to change the style on that level. Not the greatest of zones. I'm aware of that because it wasn't a great time of day. But it did give us really close to an entry and then move away. So I think that, if we come back down into here and I'm interested in it, I may get some basing here for a potential breakdown. Next, looking at gold. So in gold, we had a really nice touch and go level on Friday. Hopefully, you're able to catch that zone. We're seeing a little bit of momentum slow on the 4-hour, as you would anticipate a little bit eventually to slow. But until the market gives me a lower low, I can't even consider a short. And so I still have a long off of this level right in here. Now, if we get some basing and a breakdown sets up, then we can talk about it. But until then, I've really got just two longs set up as opportunities. Moving to nat gas, we got our gap and go breakout here just a little bit ago. And, our talk last night was with the width of this level, once it's moved at a 1-to-1 to move your stop to break even, and we got a 1-to-1. So at this point, your stop should be at break even if you took this trade, minimizing all of the risk from that position. So that should take the risk out of that trade. So allow that to continue to run. In our copper position, we did get a strong move up into our level for copper, 15-minute zone. This 15-minute zone, not as strong of a level as the hourly one up above us, but it is a little bit of a wick over wick area here. Now, in the context of a bigger picture downward trend, which we've got a lower low and a slightly lower high, this would be an excellent turning point if this level holds. So if you're already short on this one, then you're in it. Remember the 6 candle rule. If you did not get short on this one, just wait until it gets outside of the distal line. If by the time you watch this video, this is still there. Now, if we move above this wick, that's where our stop would be. So it's not come above the wick of our leg in. Our hourly level is a significantly better level, but it's also significantly higher up here on the supply and demand equation. And so if we make it up into here, I think there's still a decent opportunity in that one as well. Looking over our bonds and currency markets, we talked last night about the ZN, and the ZN is definitely pinching as we're seeing a little bit of call it a triangle pattern. Now, we don't take the trades off of breakouts of these triangle patterns. I still need to follow my breakout rules, but we are definitely in a consolidation pattern in here. So our demand levels below still exist. I have no supply when I'm coming in from such a high price. Looking at the Aussie, so the Aussie has come back down to our hourly zone. The problem with this hourly zone, and we talked about this last night, is that if we got basing in front of it, it was essentially going to negate that level, and we came really close to it, moved away. We have a really nice supply level here, and price dropped in, which means our opposing supply is right here, which gives me really less than a 1-to-1 reward to risk in this scenario. Now, this is an important spot because we got lower than this prior candle's low. If this pops back up and I get a lower swing high, now I will have seen the beginnings of a potential rollover for price to go significantly lower. So this demand, while you may or may not have been in this demand level, is important because are we going to rally back up to here, because that's actually a better supply for a potential short. And if you do take this demand, I think your first target is this area here. This is actually a better opportunity to enter on a short off this very strong move away. Our euro level, we had set up this short last night. Price came into our level. We got a little move away, came into it again, and we got a much stronger move away. So if you got into it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After 6 candles, price was down here. So, it hadn't really gone all that much. If you wanted to take your stop and move it down to break even, you can. Or you could take a little bit of money off the table as we're coming close to our profit target. We've already moved about 2 to 1 off of that zone. So hopefully you're able to catch that one from last night's live trade room. At this point, I need to remove that level because we've already traded into that level and gotten a decent little move away. And we're looking at our target being down here. Now, if we get basing in front of this level and then a strong drop, to me, that would set up a next level down here at 6695 as our next target area. In the Canadian dollar, we don't really have any great levels in the Canadian. They're actually all pretty far away from me. We did get a decent move away in the overnight, which set up for this little area here as a potential reversal. That's essentially the same time of day that the Australian dollar level was formed. Great British Pound. Now, all the rest of them, we had some supply levels set up. The Great British Pound, we had a demand level. And one of the things I talked about last night was I will not be doing a set it and forget it on this level because I wasn't super in love with it. It just didn't have enough there for me to really lean on, and that's why I didn't do a set it and forget it style. Although we had a good arrival into the zone, we just cut right through it. So I will say I did not have this one set up in the overnight. Hindsight being 2020, obviously, it would have been nice to have this short as the opportunity to get in, but there's no real strong supply to lean on in that area. But now that we've come down, I think we're going to see more and more of our currencies finding a bit of weakness, which is why it's good that we've got a couple of different areas set up for today for potential reversals. Japanese yen, last night we had a huge move down in the yen. And we had looked at a potential area right up in here. Price came back into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles later had gone nowhere, and essentially now is just chopping around. Now I still think that the opportunities are better to break lower from here based on what our 4 hours telling us, and this would be our eventual demand. And we had looked at that. We noticed that there's plenty of other supply areas up above us, but we didn't have any of those highlighted. And the reason being is that we have to get through this one, which we talked about last night, and we hit it 6 candled out. No real area in there. Depending on your time zone, you may or may not have been able to trade that one. So now this would be our next level for a potential on the reversal. So a lot of market setup for today. I think that we could see some weakness overall in the equities because we've got some strength in the U.S. dollar, and we're seeing a little bit of strength in the dollar, some weakness in some of those currencies, and the equities are definitely giving me a little bit of strength, and so allowing those to continue to run. So if you're in your hopefully you guys that joined us last night have pulled a little bit of money out of that NASDAQ position and are feeling like you're kicking off Monday the right way. If you are new to the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, come back tomorrow. We will do it again. Talk to you soon. See ya.